Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Grandmaster Jose Torres coming to you live with the Martial Arts Experience and our special edition of All Things City of Honor. We have obviously this week really been pushing everything. We have our premiere coming up on Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Burlington Regal. We've just upgraded our tickets again. That's right. I can't make any of this stuff up. So we sold out 150, 225, and now we're pressing the 300 mark. So I have received over 50 emails today. I'm letting all the supporters of the show, anybody that knows me, I love you. But once we get to the 300 mark, there's absolutely nothing I can do. I can't do anything else. We do not have 3 other theaters. We don't have anything else. This is all we got. So if you want to make sure that you are part of the hype, you're part of this amazing steamrolling show of City of Honor that's happening, make sure you get your tickets today. So important, so important, so important. So we're coming to the tail end of our series. Obviously, those of you that joined, we had a double session yesterday with Tara London, and then we had Shannon Bogan, which is amazing, leading to who our special guest is today. So I'm excited to have her. Maybe I'm a little nervous too, right? Because I got to make sure like I have my standard of my hosting skills ready for her. But she's definitely important, and I could see her backstage. But the funny thing is we already got people watching the show, so that means she's important. That's the whole thing. Yeah. No pressure, no pressure. So, but what I'm going to do now is in case you haven't seen the teaser, again, we've been playing it for everybody's show. We want to get you hyped up. As soon as we play the teaser, we're going to bring our special guest on. So sit back and let's see what's going on here. Man, this is like the 1000th time I've seen this, and that thing is hot. It's hot. It's hot. So without further ado, I'm setting up for our amazing guest today, the one, the only. Now, I have a new feature. I tried it the other day. We have our drum roll, and we're going to bring on, there she is, Miss Danielle. How are you? How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. You know, we had a capacity crowd today in the studio. Everybody's clapping for you. And we're so excited to have you. Absolutely. So for our wonderful audience, we have the amazing, talented actress, Danielle Harper, and she plays ADA Gabrielle Asante on our show. So we're excited to have you. How are you doing today, Danielle? How's everything going?
So far, so good. I mean, It's the sun is shining, right? That's half the battle these days.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're ready for Saturday, right? Saturday, we got a big weekend. We have the premiere of episode 2 at 6 o'clock. Now, Danielle, you'll be there, right, Danielle?
I will.
All right.
With bells on, maybe.
Nice. So all of our fans, Danielle will be there, taking photos, signing autographs, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that good stuff. She will definitely be there. So, so Danielle, let's give the viewers. So obviously this is on our platform, Martial Arts Experience, which is a martial arts podcast. However, we also do features with action and everything else. So if you could tell our viewers, tell them a little bit of your bio and your background. How did you get involved in the entertainment world?
I've been involved in the entertainment world since I was 3. I was a classically trained ballet dancer, and I turned professional at 14. And I was lucky enough to dance in Russia for a number of years as a professional dancer, or not a number of years, number of months. As a professional dancer, and then decided that I needed to sort of expand my horizons and started doing a lot of music theater. I did a lot of regional music theater, did a lot of plays, did a lot of theater, and just kind of fell in love with telling stories through movement, through storytelling, through acting, through all of it, through singing. And then I went to college because that's what you're told to do, whether you're an artist or not, right?
Right, right, right.
And I went to college, and I was blessed and lucky to meet a lot of the people that I met while I was there. And unfortunately, when I was there, I was in a very bad car accident, and I needed to go through an experimental therapy program, which basically put me up for 6 months of, and as a dancer, that's like the end of your career.
Mm,
And they told me I would never dance again. And I told them, okay, let's see. And after that, I came back stronger and more determined than ever. And I moved to New York in between semesters, and I started working on Broadway.
mm,
And I did a number of off-Broadway shows, a number of off-Broadway musicals. I ended up interning on Broadway, taking lots of classes with people in the city, and just kind of forced my way back in, whether they liked it or not. Maybe not on the same degree. I went from classical ballet to contemporary ballet and music theater and all of those things, but I still said, see, I told you I could do it.
right.
And then I danced professionally as a principal dancer for two different companies in New York City, as well as dancing throughout. I went on tour for a little while with a Connecticut opera, and I was dancing for them and working with them for about 6 months after college. And then I moved to Boston and danced for Boston Ballet for a little while. And I danced for a couple of companies. And then I ended up in New York permanently, and did that whole bubble of circuitry and things. And then I really did hit my wall, and ended up with a very bad knee injury. And
Mm,
my doctors told me it's time, like you have to
right.
stop, or you won't be able to really move ever again.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it was a lot to hear for the second time in my life. And I said, okay, fine. And I like devoted myself to understanding why this was happening, and became a personal trainer and a group fitness instructor, and basically started studying like the female body and why do we break down in different ways than men do and things like that. So I went on to continue my education, and now hold multiple certifications in different fields and different bubbles of that. I do perimenopause, menopause, prenatal, postnatal, all of that stuff. I literally help women put their bodies back together.
Right.
And I love it. And it's a passion, and it's important to me. And it's probably why I'm still functioning at this point.
Right. Right. Right.
And in that sort of search for me to learn and understand why I couldn't dance anymore, but I could do other things, some of my girlfriends were stunt performers for film and television. And they said, well, you're a mover. You know how to move. You know what your body can do, what it can't do. Why don't you come and try stunts?
Okay.
And so I said, all right, well, I did martial arts as a kid. Why not try? And so I started taking stunt classes in New York, and started learning how to fight for camera.
Mm,
And a lot of my martial arts background was from when I was really, really little. And so for me, it was interesting to watch my body remember and like translate that into stunts and what that looks like.
right.
And it's obviously very different in many capacities, but in many other ways, it's not, right? Like it's still an art form that you're putting together, and the pieces, that you have to do. I just don't actually land a punch anymore.
Mm,
It's made for camera, so it's a little less dangerous. But I fell in love with it because it became a way for my body to move and be free, and to tell stories still like I did on stage as a dancer. And eventually realized that like I could do that as a living and still be
right.
creative and do some cool stuff. And thankfully, a lot of opportunities started to open up because of the training programs that I was taking in the city. And I started working on a number of shows as a stunt actor, and quickly realized, like, why can't I just be an actor who can do stunts instead? Because
Right.
I'm more of an actor than a stunt performer.
Yeah.
I don't jump off the top of buildings anymore. I don't fly through glass anymore. But when I first learned, I definitely did. And so for me, as I've gotten older, I've realized like my ability to do stunts has diminished because I'm older now, and I'd like to keep my life. But but at the same time, I realized that my passion is as an actor more than as a stunt performer. And
Right.
so I started booking more work as an actor for film and television, and doing a lot of my own stunts. So I wasn't falling on a table and breaking the table anymore. I was doing all the way up until that point, and then they would run in and put a stunt person in.
Right.
And so because of that, though, I was really lucky that I had a lot of support and a lot of people behind me in that journey, and was blessed to work on a lot of different shows and a lot of different capacities
Right.
through the mainstream industry. And I started to find my way through the indie industry.
Right.
um, working on a lot of different projects. And then eventually I fell in love and I got married and I decided to take 5.5 years off. I dead stop, complete industry shutdown, got rid of my agent and my manager, and closed the doors completely to the bubble of film and television. Um, and then about 2.5 years ago, my husband, thank God, he kind of said to me, part of you is missing. The creative little bubble that I fell in love with isn't the same. So go figure it out. And like the kids are old enough, we can handle it. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work. And he supported me all the way through. So I said, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do this again. If I open this door, I don't know if I can close it again. And so I just went and I did a random audition for on Backstage. I reopened my account, and yeah, and I ended up working on a thesis project for a woman who is now one of my best friends, and she and I now own a production company ourselves, with another young woman. And I kind of found my way back into the circuit of film and television, but this time on my own terms. In the past, I tried to play by the rules and I tried to follow all of the mainstream things that you do. And you do it, you go through the agents and the managers, and I love them and I need them and I want them. So, any agents, managers watching out there, hit me up. But at the same time, this time I said I'm doing it my way. And so I've been in more control of my career this time around. So I've been back in about 2.5 years. I play right on the line of SAG. I do a lot of SAG projects, but I also still get to do a lot of indie projects. Um, and I love it. Like I'm lucky enough that I get to do a lot of mainstream stuff, but I also get to do things like this. Like City of Honor is amazing, and I've been watching all of my castmates do these podcasts with you all week, and I have to like literally reiterate everything they're saying, and the fact that like what we have isn't something you get on most shows. Like I've been on enough projects through the years that it's very rare to find what we have found, in a full capacity. Can you find bits and pieces of it? Absolutely. But we have turned into a family just like that. Like overnight, we're a family. We all support each other. We love each other. We literally are texting, like, what are you going to wear? And, what's happening this tomorrow? Or where are we going? Or and it's beautiful. And that's the kind of thing you see develop on shows that have been around for 5 years or 4 years, like not instantaneously like it did. So kudos to you for putting all of us together in the same place. But it's something special. And like I said, this year is a year, I keep telling myself it's my year because I'm making moves for myself. I'm not playing by anyone else's rules anymore.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's so surreal to like be back in the business and finding that my love and passion for it this time around in different terms. And I'm such a different person than I was, before I left. And it's magical.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's me in a nutshell. I could go on and on about all of the different people and things I've done and whatnot, but it's really, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your last project. So,
Right. Yeah.
I'm happy to say the City of Honor is still actively moving and grooving. So,
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's give a shout out to your husband, Jesus, for pushing you
yes,
to get back into acting. So let's give that guy a round of applause. He's doing well. That's great.
He
That's
is.
great. And he's been so supportive of you, right? You have two younger babies. Well, not babies, but boys.
They're little. Yeah, yeah. No, he's
So
been
how is
amazing.
how is that challenge be? Because you're one of the few, that has two kids that are part of the cast in that age demographic. And how is that, managing that, Danielle? How is that?
I mean, it is what it is. No, it takes a lot of planning and timing, and honestly, a lot of sacrifice. He also has his own life and his career that he's, in some ways putting aside for me sometimes. And he thankfully comes from a world similar to the acting bubble. He's not in entertainment. He was a professional athlete. So he understood the grind of what it takes to get to a certain point in your passion, right? Like traveling around, not being home all the time, all that kind of stuff. He lived that before we were married, and I lived that as a dancer. So we both knew kind of that world.
Right.
And when we decided to settle down, and he saw the sacrifices I made to just kind of give it all up, literally, like just it was done. I was done. I was never setting foot back on in front of a screen. And I struggled to like go to shows. I struggled to go to the movie theater because was too hard. But when he said to kind of go back and find me, he was like, I can still train and I can still compete.
Right.
You're not doing any of you.
Mm.
So we have to find you again.
Yeah.
And just because we have kids doesn't mean that like we stop living and we stop getting to be ourselves. And at the end of the day, like for him being an athlete and training and competing is at his core. And so is being an artist for me. Like telling stories, bringing those stories to life is in my core. And to deny that for so many years was started like, kind of eating away, I guess, to some degree. And I didn't even see it, but he did, thankfully. And so he said, if that's what it takes, we will figure it out. So sometimes we have babysitters, sometimes we have family that watches the kids if he's training or he's working and I'm off at something. But, like this year has been probably the craziest year since I've been back. I've been so incredibly blessed to work on. I don't even know at this point how many projects I've worked on this year. And I kind of said to him, I said, every year is going to get harder at this point because I'm not going to stop. You told me to go, so I'm going.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so we're still every day is a challenge and every day we're still trying to piecemeal it and figure it out. Like the other day I had to teach a class and he had a race and we didn't have anyone to watch the kids. And so I was like, I guess the kids are going to sit on tablets and watch me teach. Like, I don't know what else to do.
Right.
So
Right.
we
Right.
have those moments like that happen where they're like our schedules don't match. But the beautiful thing too is that a lot of my friends are retired performers or artists, and so they have kids the same age, and they've said, "Hey, we'll watch the kids for a couple hours if you guys have this weird gap where nobody can watch them." And
Yeah.
his family's been amazing and stepped up to help. Like they don't get it, they don't get my side of it, but they
Right.
get that it's us asking for help, and they say absolutely they're Hispanic, they're all in,
Yeah.
family is
Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for them, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna watch the kids, no problem. You do you. So
That's awesome. That's
it's
awesome.
a struggle, but
Yeah.
every day is a new challenge.
Now, is there any competitive rivalry between Jesus winning and competing at high level in his Iron Man things versus you and your acting? Like, what's going on in the Abreu family? Like, I want to know that. That'll be my last personal question, and we'll go. Like, are you
uh,
guys competing or what's happening? Is there a
we
friend?
don't compete. We definitely don't compete. But
Okay.
what is funny is that for my kids, him bringing home trophies and medals and awards is such a more tangible concept
Right.
than
Right.
mommy made a movie. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
because 99% of the things I do are things that my children are too young to see.
Right.
Um, so that's a thing for sure. Like my oldest is starting to be like, oh, you're off filming. Okay, cool. And like,
Yeah.
all right, mommy
Yeah.
does that. She's on TV. That's cool. Like,
Yeah.
but my little one is like, no, mommy, you have to video chat with me. I don't understand why you can't come home and make dinner. Like,
That's
I'm
awesome.
on set, baby. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but for him, it's daddy went to a race, daddy came home with a medal. Like, I mean, they're excited and every time he does a big race, like the longer races or where he has to travel, they'll send videos and it's very sweet. Like because I'm a video person, I'll be like, we're going to make a video for daddy. And we send like a pre-race video and then a post-race
Yeah.
video.
That's
And
awesome.
it's fun in that sense. Like we kind of mold and mend like our lives together and piecemeal. But um, yeah, it's different for sure.
Yeah.
So when I start winning awards and get to bring those home, maybe the kids will believe
Then
mommy.
they'll be, yeah, yeah. Then they're all in. I got you.
Then I'm real.
Got you. So after we get to City of Honor season 32, then
Yeah,
by
when we
that,
go to space. Yeah.
yeah, I'll be watching. That's right. Well, we'll definitely be up for a Golden Globe and an Emmy. That's from my mouth to God's ears. That's what's
I think we'll be up for an Emmy way before then.
yes, yes. I hope so. Because I'll be like 90 by that time. So yeah. So let's jump into City of Honor. So City of Honor, you're playing 88 Gabrielle Sante, and we had your boss on last night, Shannon. I think Shannon killed it. I always love talking to Shannon. He's a great guy. Let's talk about your character, Danielle. Like, how do you divulge and kind of get involved with her? What do you channel to kind of get it? And we'll give a little bit of background on her. But go ahead. I would like you to kind of share with the viewers.
Yeah. So Gabby is she's a lawyer. She's very authoritative. She is strong in every sense of the word. She knows her power, and it's funny because it's opposite of who I am as a human being. Like I'm kind of silly and I laugh and I play and I whatever, but I play those kinds of parts a lot, which is fun. And it's nice to like put on a suit and look fancy and nice, but also just like really, really sure of myself and really certain. And that's Gabby to a T. She knows what she's doing. Her wheels are always turning. Um, and I think she's so fun and fascinating, and it's been really cool to see, where she's come from to like this bit part in the pilot to where she is in episode 2, and then to know kind of the journey she's about to go on.
Yeah.
And I think I'm excited. I think the audience is going to be surprised, but also like not to give anything away, but I do think that she holds more keys than anyone else in the whole show. Like she knows a lot more about what's going on, and she's got her hands in things than
Yeah.
anyone else really knows. Or at least she appears to.
Right.
And so I think there's something kind of cool about that, where it's like this character that nobody really, I mean, people pay attention to her, and they're going to pay more and more attention to her, but she's kind of she started as a secondary character and is making some big moves in this episode.
Right.
Um, and will continue to do so, based on kind of where the trajectory of the show is going. So I think it's really fun to have a character that has such a nice little arc,
Yeah.
even through
Yeah.
season 1. I love characters that have arcs and have great little stories, and it starts tiny and gets really big. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I love the dynamic between Shannon, between the DA Andrews and me, and
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I'm excited for the audience to see how it plays out. But
Yeah.
I think there's something really cool and special about getting to actually go up against a real lawyer.
Right.
I'm on his side, where, I'm his ADA, so we'll
Yeah.
see, how it all plays out. But it's cool to play next to a real lawyer and really know that there's some realism to what's happening as far as our characters and some genuine authenticity. Um, so that's cool too, because that's something that you don't see on shows. I actually played a DA on Madam Secretary, way back when the show was out. It was a bit part. It was like quick, like little one line, and that's it. But it was one of those things where, maybe I was meant to be a lawyer. I don't know, but but it's cool. And like on a personal note, for me, I grew up within the government system. Like my mom worked for government,
Mm.
and she worked for the attorney generals. So I spent most of my childhood going to the attorney general's office and sitting there doing homework in between rehearsals and school and swim practices. And so I grew up with lawyers like literally they raised me,
Yeah.
and so for me, it's like my mom laughs about it now. She's like, of course you play a lawyer on TV. Like you
That's
were
all.
surrounded by them your whole childhood, and
Yeah.
now you get to play one on TV. So all of my mom's former coworkers are loving that I'm a lawyer on TV. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we had a couple people before I ask my next questions. We had some people chime in today. So we have the Duarte family. They chimed in. It's Amanda's mom and dad. They said, "Can't wait to see you guys on Saturday." Then we have our amazing one of the double heads of Bold Media, Miss Darren says, "You're amazing, Danielle. Amazing. Yes, yes, yes." And then she gave, "You keep going."
oh,
And then she also said, "Totally understand that feeling about growing into your career. Wise words." And then we had big bad Robert Andrews come in and say that the award will be coming. And it looks like he said yes about something. So I don't remember what time that came in. But yeah, eyes are on it. Danielle, and I think, like you said, this has been a very unique journey for everyone involved, right? From the pieces and how it went. And even from the beginning of the show, from the casting, because we had conversations and, we spoke about different roles. And, it's crazy to think some of that original casting conversations that we had of different roles, and then how it, fed into exactly where it was now. And it's crazy, just how everything fit in as a puzzle. I mean, really never could have foreseen, and I think everybody, like, even from the first premiere, just the support, the love, everything that's been happening, it's just been, very remarkable. So someone who's been as seasoned as you, how does this compare to some of your other experiences? Where does this fit in your hierarchy of things?
Well, first of all, it feels weird to be called seasoned, but thank you.
Yes.
No, it's interesting because City of Honor definitely holds a special place for me, for a lot of different reasons. It was, I don't know, it's been so strange because like I said, I've been lucky to have worked the mainstream bubble a little bit before I left. And so knowing what that looks like, from a lesser perspective of like, I got to work on a couple shows, which is cool, but I was like this teeny tiny speck on their radar of who I was and what I was doing. And did anybody, if I missed my line, they would have cared, but would they have cared really if like I didn't know what was happening or where I was going or what was going on? Like nobody ever called and checked on me. Nobody ever did,
Right.
anything, when it comes to that. But in the indie world, which is a very different world,
Right.
everybody talks to each other. Everyone is it becomes friends or at least like amicable with each other, and can kind of work together and express. And like it's a whole community of people. And I think City of Honor has captured a community in and of itself. And
Hmm.
that by itself is like a really special thing. Um, I think I think that for me, City of Honor is different. It is the first thing that I've ever done that my husband and his family and many of my friends have actually taken a step back and said, "Holy shit, you're legit." Like
Oh,
out of all of the years I've been doing this, and my husband is it was I mean he's so supportive and he's amazing, but like he generally is not like he's a very introverted person. He doesn't go out and do big things. And so he's watched me go off to do things and go off to do award shows and go off to do red carpets and all these things for years. And when I told him that this pilot was coming out last year, I said, listen, like I will get tickets. We'll go. It'll be fun. I want you to finally see something that I've done. And he said, this is the first big thing you've done since you came back that's like in theaters, and I'll come and I'll support and it'll be kind of cool, right? When we walked out of that theater, he looked at me and he's like, holy crap, you're like, you're real. Like, and I was like, but at the same time, like there is a moment when you see, like I've seen myself in theater. Thankfully, I've been blessed to have a number of projects go to theaters, and whatever. But it's not as surreal for you as an actor as it is for the people around you who love you and have supported your journey.
right.
And City of Honor gave me that moment
Mm.
with my husband. Like
Mm.
it was something that like I'll never get again, and it was wonderful. Like he legitimately was like, wow, like yes, yes, like,
Oh,
and it was just like a next level of support. Like of
yeah, yeah,
course
yeah, yeah, yeah.
unconditional love and all the support and whatever, but
Yeah.
just to see, this person that he's watched fight and fight and fight and fight and, sometimes cry myself to sleep at night or whatever because of things not going the way they should have, especially before I left the business. And then to get to see your person like
Yeah. Yeah.
up there on the screen. And then,
Awesome.
and he said it was just very sweet because he sees a lot of the same things I do. Like he watches award shows with me, and he watches we watch a lot of movies together. That was kind of our thing when we were dating, is like going to the movie theaters. And so we would see behind the scenes stuff and we would see all these things. And he's like, oh, do you have stuff like this? And this was obviously a long time ago. It was before Instagram, like before that was even a thing. Like I remember when I was told I needed one of those and I was like, what is that? I mean, I'm dating myself a little bit, but to be honest, like it was just, for me, it was about the art. It was about telling the story. And now it's about so many other things.
Right.
Um, and so for me, City of Honor will forever hold a special place just because it was that moment.
It's awesome.
And it was a moment where his family, except for his mom, who I hope is watching this, and and realizes that I don't have to be on a novella to be to be an actor. But
Well, this is kind of a novella. I mean, that's what's going
in
to lead
English,
to it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, but I mean, his whole family kind of said, "Oh, wow, she's like on TV now. Like she's streaming." And there was a level of acceptance that I hadn't I hadn't really received previously. And the craziest part too is like I remember after the premiere, we all went to the beach. We always go as like a big family and all the kids and everything. And we do the crazy sit at the beach in Jersey Shore with all the buckets of all the food and everything. And his whole circle, who I've loved and have been invested with for years and years,
Yeah.
they all looked at me and they said, "You're doing great things. We love you. We support you. Tell us what you need." And
Oh,
that was like the first time. I mean, his bubbles always loved me and supported me, but
yeah.
I'm the spouse and the, added person in. And it was like incredibly genuine and real and like they were there, they were part of it. Like it was just such a interesting moment. And I think Tara talked about it a little bit yesterday too, with Cody getting to see it on the screen. Like there's something about like the person you love more than anything in the world accepting and realizing
Yeah.
you're an actor, like a real actor, and I think she said her dad said the same thing. And like my parents have watched me on stage my whole life. And so for them, there's a part of them that's like, yeah, this is what you do. Yeah, you make stories like, but um, it's just and I remember there was a time in my dance career that happened as well. Like I danced with the Hartford Ballet and my mom came and see me perform and she just it was a moment for her. Like she was like, you've dedicated your whole life to this and I just watched you in your first major role in a professional ballet company, in a major ballet company.
Hmm.
Wow. And it was like a moment. And so like it's nice to have that moment
Absolutely.
in, film and television. And that's this. Like I've, like Tara said yesterday, she's been in a lot of things. I've been in a lot of things, but to get that moment finally is a pretty big deal. And
So,
City of Honor did that for me. So
wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. I think that's an
yeah.
amazing thing that, each part of this family has kind of, taken their piece, right? And it means something different to everybody. But the overall goal is to create something beautiful, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's, what we're doing with having everybody come together. So, you know, and also I think it's awesome for Jesus to support because obviously, it's definitely different for the spouse, right? To watch you, to see you, and support your vision and things of that nature, right? Because Gabby's character is changing, it's
Oh
changing,
yeah, she's evolving.
evolving. She's, going down. She's got scenes obviously with Robert, but now she's got scenes with Dante, and things are developing, and I think that's awesome to obviously have that type of support, which is amazing. You know what I mean? Absolutely. What do you feel as an actress has been some of the biggest hurdles that you have? And I feel like you're unique because you did it, then you took your hiatus, then you went back. So I would actually like to know now what has been the biggest hurdle of your, let's say, phase two career. You know what I mean? Like what is
Yeah.
the thing? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, honestly, getting an agent,
Okay. Okay.
like a real agent that I trust
Okay.
and I think is going to be an actual part of my team. My previous representation before I took my break was great and I learned a lot from them.
Okay.
But I didn't feel like we were a team. Like I was just a face that they could push out and people either said yes or no kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, the business has shifted a lot since then as well.
Right.
So there's some of it is that's how it used to be to some degree. And now I would say so since the strike happened, the industry has massively changed, like exponentially changed and it's always changing, but it's like in a way I can't even explain. Um, and so when I first came back, I actually started with representation practically immediately, just by chance. I ended up with a manager who I really loved a lot, and she was in it with me. She would call me and talk through things. It was such a great experience. And I kind of said, that's what I want. Like if I'm gonna go back and have representation, which I want,
Right.
um, I want a person that's on my side, like that's on my team, that's going to help me move the needle forward. I don't want to just be a number. I want to be a person in their phone that they will text or they will call or I want it to be a team. I want to grow, I want to develop, and I want that person along for the ride. And that for me is hard. Like I've taken a few meetings with different agents and managers, and sometimes it's been good and I like the person, but it's not the right timing or whatever. And then there's times where I've taken meetings and I'm like, I'm just a person to you. Like I'm just a face that you're going to submit. And that's fine. There's plenty of people out there that need that, but that's not what I want.
Right.
I want someone who gets me and gets that I am progressive and different, and I do more than just smile and look pretty. I'm not the drunken girl at the bar. Like, could I play it? Yes. Do I want to? Absolutely not. So give me something real. And so there's also that, right? So for me, that finding the right people to put on my team to help me move my career to the next level or forward, or get it in front of the names that are going to start to allow me to make these shifts and changes that I want to make in my career, it's been honestly the biggest struggle. I've been blessed to, this past year especially, I've been blessed to be able to audition for some of the big casting director heavy hitters just by happenstance. Like, it just worked out where I don't think they remember me from 1,000 years ago, but I've just submitted auditions for a couple people, and I've been called in a few times to that same casting director, which is a big thing. I still take acting classes and do coachings and things, and that's one of the things that I take classes in is auditions, because I hate auditioning. And auditions have changed so much since when I was in the industry previously. I did everything in person. And now you got this fancy thing called self tapes, and you got to have your own setup, and you got cameras, you got lights. Like, it's basically building a movie set in your home that's this big.
Yeah.
And so that is a huge shift. So I've actually taken a lot of classes in how to do self tapes better and learning how to do them properly, because that's an art by itself.
Right.
And in that, I've also taken, like, what is it, like, what are casting directors looking for? How is it a good sign, or what is a good sign, or what, I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
Right.
So I'm a perpetual learner, and I like to grow and learn. And I take all these programs and classes to do those kinds of things. But one of the big things that everybody says is, if a casting director keeps calling you back, even if you don't get the work, it means there's something about you, right?
Right.
Something they like, something maybe you can't put your finger on it, but there's something they like about you. And so this year has been an interesting year like that, where I've had some good auditions for some bigger casting directors, and I keep getting called, right? I might not get the work, but I keep getting called.
Right.
And so in my mind, I'm like, I just need to keep the wheels moving and to keep getting some auditions. And Tara said yesterday, booking is the hardest part.
Right.
And I agree with her, but some of it isn't even so much of booking, but some of it is actually just getting the audition. Like, it, as an actor who doesn't have representation, I feel like I have to fight tooth and nail for auditions. Literally, I feel like I'm crawling to people begging for objects and process. But at the same time, with an agent or a representation or a manager, the doors are a little more open, and there's a longer list of auditions available. And those same casting directors that I auditioned for 3 or 4 projects now might have 20 projects I could have auditioned for, but I
Mm.
don't have access to that. So, like I said, I guess it's like a twofold, right? Getting the agent and manager that feels right and is part of my team and can help me grow as much as I can help them grow, but then getting access to those auditions and the bigger names and the bigger people to then move the needle on the career.
Right. Right. Now, obviously, you've played a lot of different roles. You've, had been experience again from playing a detective to playing a dying woman to playing all these different roles. What out of your, let's say phase 2 career, what are your top 2 roles that you've been able to kind of grasp that you're like, oh my God, I love these 2 things, even if it was a short part, but you're like, I loved playing it, or
Sure,
maybe,
sure.
yeah,
I mean, Gabby for sure. I love playing ADA Gabriella. No, I do. I very much do. Like, she's so fun and awesome. And if I could play her every day, it'd be great. But I also, I just wrapped on a movie called Hellbound Covenant, and I play a character named Mary. And I can't talk a lot about the film, but what I can say is that the film takes place in the 70s, so right after Vietnam, and it's like Vietnam vet situation, PTSD, and all those kinds of things. But Mary, for me, held so many interesting moments and important, like, pieces of importance. She was a wife. She is dealing with, she's dealing with post Vietnam. She had to kind of go on her own little roller coaster, and she was fun. I mean, she had her dark moments and she had her pieces, and it was a bit part comparatively to the film, but she was fun to play, and it allowed me an opportunity to play a different kind of role. Like, I don't often get to play the wife. I often play detectives, lawyers, cops, you know, uh, news reporters. Like, more like authoritative-y kinds of positions. So it was nice to just play somebody's wife and to just have to manage that piece of it and the sad story that goes along with it. But um, so she was very special, and I'm not quite sure I've let her go yet, even though I just wrapped like
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. And I'm on another show called Things We Do for Love, and I play a homicide detective on that
Okay.
show, and it is so fun to play this really sort of smart ass female Latina detective who just doesn't take shit from anybody. And there's something really cool about that. And she's in your face, and she literally just like does whatever she wants. And it's kind of awesome. And that show is currently filming actually in Brooklyn. So it's fun. It's been a great experience. I can't speak too much about her, but she's been great to play, and just kind of fun to like break the rules, to not play within the lines of a traditional person. And then I guess the final thing is that I am on another show also currently filming called Philly Narcotics,
Mm.
and I play
A lot of
a
law enforcement. What is going on?
yes, a lot of law enforcement. But in this one, I actually play a cartel boss. So I get to put on the Spanish accent and dress fancy, and kind of just tell a lot of people off. It's really great. But it's fun because like this time around, I'm playing by my rules, so I get to sort of pick and choose the roles, and I don't get shoeboxed into
Yeah.
you just do this.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I love playing, these kinds of roles. It's my bread and butter. I love it. I eat it up for breakfast, but at the same time, it's nice to like play outside of the box. Like I don't always want to play in the sandbox. I want to play outside the sandbox sometimes too. So, yeah, it's been good. I've gotten lucky with a couple big roles this past year with different things.
Right. Right. Is there a role that, like, in your arsenal that you're like, I want to play that character at some point? Like, what is the elusive, like, I really want to play this person, you know?
You're gonna laugh really hard because the reality is that's never gonna happen. But I would love to play Lara Croft.
Oh, okay. Action. I got you. I got you. Badass. Okay. Okay.
Because I am an adventurer at heart, and like
Mhm.
I love the idea of just being like an adventure seeking, like telling an adventure story, like an Indiana Jones but woman size, like I that is my jam. That's my favorite kind of genre,
Yeah.
next to sci-fi. But I like between those two things, like if it was a role that exists already, I would love to play Lara Croft.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and I asked this difficult question of some of the cast members is, this is phase two for you, right? So, where do you see and what do you want your legacy to be where you kind of step away from this? When you're like, you know what? I'm done acting. This is where I want to be. What do you want that epitaph for Danielle Harper to be? I mean, when people think of you, what's your dream? What's that dream to be the mark that you left?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm already sort of starting to create that, I guess. Like I said earlier, I'm one of three chicks in Three Chicks Flicks Productions. And I'm always an incredibly strong advocate for women in this industry. I find that the industry is such a beautiful place, but it's a messy place, and it's a place that women are not always accepted. There is a huge gap in this industry, and women are always on the other side. And so I am always advocating, and I'm always pushing for women to be treated equal in this industry, but also to be given the chance, right? So my production company, I know we're talking about City of Honor, but my production company is owned by three women. Every film we do is with a female-driven main character.
Awesome.
It is often written by a woman. Half of the crew is female. And in the summer, we actually offer screenwriting classes for anyone who's ever interested in learning to write film. We also offer acting classes, and the idea is to just offer opportunities for women to grow in the industry. And then we offer opportunities for women to come to our set and learn the onset while we're working on a project, and actually learn the skills that they might need to then go off and be a PA on a bigger set or whatever the case is.
Right.
And so much so that one of our three chicks, Jerry White, who I absolutely adore, she's amazing. She came to us as an actor, and is part of our three. And she now wants to transition to being a director, cinematographer, and we're providing her that opportunity through our next film. So, and it's in a baby steps, but it's all about learning and growing and developing, and we're standing behind her in that journey. And she's not going to fall because we're supporting her on her way. And so we are all like, the company is all about that, but I'm deeply all about that. Like, I just very much hate that this industry segregates. And it's similar in the same sense of like, this show itself is led by a Latino man. Like, when does that ever happen? Right. So, and that's part of why I love City of Honor too, is that it stands for all the things that I stand for as a human being, is just like, all of the differences need to walk away and everyone needs to be shared and given an equal opportunity. And so for me, that's a lot of it. And I think if I can be known as someone who helped move the needle for women in this industry, whether as an actor, as a filmmaker, as a producer, as a director, I'm all for it. Like, that, for me personally, that would be a huge thing. But on the backside, who doesn't want to win an Oscar? Just putting it out there, but
Realistic God's ears. Yeah,
right, you got to manifest it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But at the same time, what one of the most beautiful things about film is that if you can get a film made and put out into the world, you just became like immortal in some ways, right? Your name is attached to it. You did something beautiful. It's there. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
So there's something really amazing about that as well. And so for me, like, I want to be on a kids movie that my children can watch and love and fall in love with and be like, that's my mommy, and love it, and not worry about the fact that mommy shoots bad guys, but like, like that, I want that too. Like, there's, pieces, but at the end of the day, like, my big drive here is to make sure that I'm creating an opportunity for women to grow and develop in this industry, whether, again, and also we have it set up too, where if you're part of a lower income bracket, we want to help you get there. Like, we want to help you with training programs. If you can't afford it, we want to help you. Like, we want to provide opportunities for especially women, for anybody, but like even more so for women.
Is there a website if anybody's interested? Is there a website or?
Yeah, just type in Three Chicks Flicks Productions and you'll find us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So all the audience can hear that. Danielle, what kind of advice can you give an up and coming? And let's just say we'll stay with the task that we're talking about, women. So an up and coming actress that's, trying to get involved. She's trying to break through in whatever capacity, indie, whatever, any advice that you could give them?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. At the end of the day, the industry really does suck. It is incredibly challenging. It is not like any other business out there. You have to really stand on your own 2 feet in this business. And it's unusual and uncommon to find people that truly will stand beside you no matter what the circumstances in life, but even more so in this business. Most people in this business end up falling for a lot of like the tricks of the trade, shall you say. And I think if you want to be in this business, you need to know your stuff. You need to go to acting class. You need to really, really work hard and really, really study, but also know who you are and do not let anyone else change who you are to manipulate you into something else or to make decisions that you don't feel comfortable with or that you don't want, especially as a woman. And thankfully there's some aspects of this industry that are changing, which is great. But at the end of the day, like, know who you are and know your worth and do not let that change.
That's awesome. And do you feel, I mean, because again, now in different segments of your professional career, right? Because it's different when you first came out versus to where you are now as a mother, there's just a different level that you're at now, so do you feel your eyes are more open now and you understand things? Do you feel more just kind of like you have the idea a little bit better? Is that how you feel going into it now?
Yeah, I mean, you used the word earlier. I guess I'm more seasoned.
I didn't want to say it. You said you didn't like it, so I didn't want
No,
to say it.
no, no, it's no, I'm more seasoned, right? So I've lived through my mistakes and I've learned from my mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes. Like that's just how it works, right? But I am, I am not as young as I once was, and I also
You still get carded when you go out, though. I'm sure you do.
sometimes
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Go ahead, continue.
I'm, but there's something beautiful about aging too, because you just kind of, your brain is in a different place and you've lived life longer. Um, And, I think you have more of life to pull from. And I think that's part of it, right? Is I am in a very different place now than I was, 10 years ago when I was in this industry. 10 years ago, you could have told me to jump off a building and I probably would have if it would have meant a role. Like it was just, there was a lot of stuff that I was willing to do or at least consider doing
Mm,
to move the needle on my career. And
mm,
that isn't always the way to go. And
right.
that's why I say like this time around, I'm playing by my rules and the way I want. I play with who I want to play with, kind of thing.
Right.
Um, and it's just because I've been burned, and I've lived through all of that and I
Yeah.
learned from it and I'm standing stronger because of it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's I had to live it. I had to learn from it. And for anyone who never has to go through all of the trials and tribulations of this industry, congratulations.
Yeah.
But we all, every actor you will ever talk to, male, female, that's been in for a while will give you some in really crazy stories of things that have happened, things they've done, what's happened on, all of the things.
Mm, mm,
And so I think, as you get older, you learn what you stand for and what you don't stand for, and that's it. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Well, Danielle, thank you so much. I mean, we're already approaching the hour. I think we could probably do a 2-part, 3-part series with you. So
yeah,
I
I mean, I
think
can
we'll
I
do a
can stay
post.
on probably another. I could probably stay on another 10 minutes or so, 10 or
Yeah.
15.
Well,
Yeah.
what I was thinking though is it's funny because I think that what we'll probably do is a reaction show. So I told some of the other guys, if you've seen it, to try to get the whole cast or at least the main cast on one show, and we can kind of do a round table and kind of talk about, Saturday. I mean, Saturday's going to be hot. Let's be
Saturday's the
honest.
day, man.
Yeah, Saturday's no joke. We got, close to 300 people. People are going to get to see an amazing, amazing, episode. Obviously, you know how close the episode means to me in my heart. And I think that I'm excited. Like I'm proud, I mean, I'm really, really proud. And, to have amazing talent, from everybody featured, including yourself, Danielle, it's, we brought the level up of what we're trying to do. And I think that that's what's important because when you have, you bring good people in, you do great things, and that's literally what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So, all the viewers that tuned in today, I want to say thank you so much. I hope you guys loved finding out about Danielle today. Obviously, you're going to get to learn more about her character on Saturday. If you don't get, you better come out, and if you can't, then you'll just have to wait a little bit of time for it to drop on streaming. But I think everybody's going to be really happy to see Gabby get a little more screen time and some love, and yeah, I'm excited. It's funny thinking about, when we first connected, obviously it was over Instagram and, how where we've manifested this to happen. And it's special, you know what I mean? And I'm actually glad that you got to share, your experience and what City of Honor means to you, Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me the platform to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have big plans, right, Danielle? We have big plans. We got all kinds
Big plans.
We got big plans. We're cooking. We're cooking. The kitchen is open. The kitchen is open. So now I had everybody do my sound off. So you have to do my sound off. Okay. I know I
Okay.
hope you're prepped. So you got to say, this is Danielle Harper from City of Honor, and you're watching the Martial Arts Experience. Ready? I know you don't need any practice. You don't even have to. Ready? Here we go. Ready? And go.
This is Danielle Harper from City of Honor, and you're watching the Martial Arts Experience.
Boom. That's how a pro does it. That is how a pro does it. To all of our viewers, thank you so much. I will say your show was busy. There was a lot of people watching.
Oh my goodness.
And some hearts, and I don't know, maybe they didn't love DA Andrews. He didn't get as many hearts. I don't know. It's a lot of hearts on the screen right now.
Well, I love all of you.
Thank you to everybody that tuned in today. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget, buy your tickets. The link is still live. Saturday at the Regal Theater in Burlington. We have one more City of Honor guest coming tomorrow at 3:30 It's funny because Darren Davidson refers to her as baby Amanda, but she's like, 14. Amanda Duarte will be our final guest on this City of Honor special on tomorrow at 3:30. So again, thank you for joining us, Danielle. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming out today. To everybody else, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and you better watch and support City of Honor. All right, it's going to be
amazing. Come Saturday. We want a sold out crowd.
Absolutely. Signing off, guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you and have a good one. Take care, guys.